ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Beloved Sangat, my dear brothers and sisters, seekers of truth, we gather here today not merely to listen to words, but to reflect upon a wisdom that is as ancient as it is timeless. Guruji's teachings are not just verses to be recited. They are a mirror held up to our own existence, inviting us to see beyond the illusions that bind us. Today, we explore a fundamental truth, one that asks us to wake up from the sleep of separation and recognize the one that has been present all along. Like waves rising from the ocean, we may appear separate, but in truth, we have never been apart. Through the Guru's wisdom, we learn to see through the veil of Maya, to understand our true nature, and to walk this path with awareness, love, and freedom. So, let us open our hearts, not just to listen, but to truly see. Shri Guru Granth Sahib, Raag Gauri, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Ang 251. Those who have come into the world without understanding are like animals and beasts. O Nanak, those who become Gurmukh understand. Upon their foreheads is such preordained destiny. They have come into this world to meditate on the one Lord. But ever since their birth, they have been enticed by the fascination of Maya. Beloved Sangat, consider for a moment that you did not come into this world. You came out of it. Like a leaf growing from a tree or a wave forming on the surface of the ocean. You are not separate from existence, no more than a ripple is separate from the water. And yet, most people live as if they were isolated fragments, cut off from the vast rhythm of life, lost in a world of their own making. This, Guruji tells us, is the condition of those who have not entered the world without understanding. They are here, they are alive, but they do not see. They move like animals, driven by desire, endlessly chasing the next moment, the next pleasure, the next security, never realizing that the very thing they seek is already present, here and now. But beloved Sangat, there are those who awaken, the Gurmukh, the one who turns towards the Guru, toward wisdom, begins to see through the illusion of separateness. Such a person is not merely a product of biological forces or social conditioning. They are aligned with something deeper, something primordial. Their destiny is written not in the temporary dramas of this world, but in the internal unfolding of the divine. They understand that they did not come here to be entranced by Maya, the play of illusion, but to recognize the one, the fundamental reality beneath all appearances. And yet, from the moment of birth, the pull of the world is strong. We are enchanted like a moth drawn to a flame by the shimmer of things, money, status, pleasure, identity. We mistake the dance for the dancer, the dream for the dreamer. But Guruji reminds us, wake up, see through the game. You are not merely a creature caught in the tides of time. You are the ocean itself, playing at being a wave. So, beloved Sangat, let's go deeper into this. You see, when Guruji speaks of those who come into the world without understanding, they're pointing to a very basic confusion. The idea that we are somehow separate from the whole. This is the fundamental illusion, the great cosmic joke that so many take seriously. And like an actor who forgets they're playing a role, we get lost in the performance of life, believing that we are our names, our possessions, our ambitions. We become engrossed in Maya, the grand illusion, which is not some supernatural magic trick, but rather the very way in which we mistake the ever-changing forms of existence for something real and permanent. Now think about animals. They live by instinct, seeking food, shelter, survival. But they do so without questioning, without asking, who am I? Why am I here? And while humans have the capacity to ask those questions, many do not. They live as if they were merely biological machines, responding to pleasure and pain, chasing after temporary fulfillment, never stopping to see the deeper reality at play. This is why Guruji says they are like beasts, not because they are evil or foolish, but because they have not yet to awaken to what they truly are. But then there is the Gurmukh, the one who turns towards the Guru, towards wisdom. The Gurmukh is not trapped in this endless cycle of desire and fear, because they see something others do not. They recognize that they are not just a body, not just a name, not just a role in society, but something far more profound. They see that their destiny, what is written upon their forehead, so to speak, was never about accumulating wealth or status, but about realizing the One, the infinite consciousness that pervades everything. But, beloved Sangat, here's where it gets interesting. Even those who are meant to awaken, who do have this destiny, are not free from the pull of Maya. From birth, we are caught in its web, seduced by its glittering promises. We are told that success, pleasure, control, these are what matter. And so we chase, we struggle, we strive, thinking that if we could just grasp the right thing, all would be well. But Maya is like a mirage. The closer you think you are, the further it recedes. So, what's the way out? Beloved Sangat, Guruji doesn't tell us to reject the world or run away from it. That would be like a wave trying to escape the ocean. No. The answer is to see through it, to recognize Maya for what it is, not as an enemy, but as a dance, a play of forms, a divine unfolding. And when you see it this way, you are no longer trapped by it. You can move within it, enjoy it even, but without being bound by it. This is why the Gurmukh meditates on the One, not as a dry ritual, not as an escape from life, but as a way of aligning with the fundamental rhythm of existence. They know that beneath all the noise, all the desires, all the illusions, there is something still, something silent, something eternal. And that something, that one, is not separate from you. It is you. So, the real message here is simple. Wake up. See through the illusion. Recognize that you were never separate to begin with. Stop living as if you were merely a passing wave, and realize that you are, and always have been, the entire ocean. And so, beloved, we now arrive at the heart of the matter. You see, the great illusion, the trick that keeps us endlessly spinning in Maya, is the idea that you are something separate, that you are a self-contained unit, a little ego floating in a vast and alien universe, trying desperately to survive. This is the fundamental misperception, the mistaken identity that leads to all suffering. Because the moment you believe you are separate, you begin to fear, to grasp, to control. You see the world as a battleground full of things to acquire and threats to avoid. And so life becomes a struggle, a game of survival rather than a dance of realization. But what if this entire promise is wrong? Think about it. A wave on the ocean. The wave rises, it moves, it crashes, and it dissolves. If a wave could think, it might believe it is a distinct thing, an individual separate from the sea. But the truth is, the wave is the ocean, simply expressing itself in a temporary form. It was never separate, and neither are you. This is why Guruji tells us to meditate on the One. Not because the One is somewhere else, not because it is a thing to be reached, but because it is the very fabric of existence itself. The One is not an object of worship. It is reality as it is. Before we chop it up into categories, names, and identities, it is reality as it is. It is the silent awareness that exists before thought, the space in which all things arise and dissolve. But beloved Sangat, here's the paradox. The moment you try to grasp this truth, it slips away. Because the very act of grasping assumes there is something separate who must attain something beyond them. And that is precisely the illusion we are trying to see through. You see, the wave does not need to become the ocean. It only needs to realize that it never left. So what does this mean to wake up? It means to stop identifying with the passing wave and recognize the ocean. To stop clinging to the temporary and recognize the eternal. To live, not as a frightened little fragment, but as a free expression of the whole. And this is what it means to be Gurmukh, to turn toward the truth rather than away from it. It doesn't mean renouncing the world, rejecting pleasure, or withdrawing into asceticism. No, that would be a form of grasping. Instead, it means to live in the world, but not to be bound by it. To enjoy the dance without mistaking it for the dancer. To play the game without forgetting that it is, in the end, just a game. And so, Guruji's message is not about escape, but about recognition. You were never separate to begin with. The fear, the struggle, the seeking, it was all based on a misunderstanding. Stop chasing, stop resisting, and simply see. The ocean was always here, and you were never anything but the ocean, playing for a little while as a wave. And so the great joke, the cosmic laughter of it all, is that you were never lost. You never needed to be saved, to struggle, to chase after something beyond yourself. The one you seek is the one who is seeking. The wave was never separate from the ocean, and you were never separate from the hold. So what now? Live, play, dance without clinging, without fear? Let life move through you as the river flows to the sea. Be in the world, but know that you are not of it. The Gurmukh does not escape Maya, but sees through it, moves with it, like a musician who knows the melody is not separate from the silence between the notes. And when the wave finally dissolves back into the sea, there will be no loss, no fear, only the realization that it was never anything but the ocean all along. And in the vast ocean of wisdom, words are but small waves, rising and falling, never quite capturing the depth of the infinite. And as I have attempted to reflect upon the sacred teachings, I do so with the utmost humility, knowing that my understanding is limited and my expression imperfect. If in my recitation or interpretation I have made any errors, whether in thought, word or spirit, I ask for forgiveness. For the truth is far greater than any single voice can convey. Just as a drop of water cannot claim to know the entirety of the ocean, I too acknowledge the limits of my understanding. And if I have spoken in error, mispresented even a grain of the wisdom contained in these sacred words, I ask for grace and forgiveness. May the One, who is beyond all form and thought, guide my heart toward clarity, my mind towards humility, and my soul toward ever deepening awareness. Waheguru, the Infinite knows all, and I surrender to that boundless mercy. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.